Hello and welcome back to another RouterGods video. My name's Humphrey Chung. We're going to be doing another resume review. I'm going to call this resume review number 3827 just because I forgot how many resume reviews we have done. So once again, if you haven't seen these before, we do the resume reviews and makeovers as part of RouterGods Meetup group. It is one of the largest meetup groups in the world for IT and network professionals. It is free. We don't charge any money. The resume reviews are free. And we seem to be doing about 1 to 2 resume reviews a week right now because lots of people are looking for jobs and lots of people are updating their resumes. Okay, so we got this resume. We will call this person Bill. Obviously, we privacy out, we black out all the identifying information. So Bill is on the east coast of the United States, or the eastern part of the United States. He's never worked in IT before, so he's looking to do a career change from kind of government, school, kind of maintenance, blue collar type work into IT, which is completely fine. And let's just take a look at the resume really quick. Let's just get the general layout. 2-column resume. We've got the skills on the right hand side, personal information upper right corner. What I like about this is they've figured out LinkedIn. They put a thing into LinkedIn, and they've also used the short URL with LinkedIn. So instead of the really long URL that's like gobbledygook, they've actually done a custom one, which is pretty good. Well, it looks more professional, so that's really awesome. You can take this a step up by going to GoDaddy and buying a domain name and making it point to LinkedIn. That's kind of the step up. But so what I did is I have the Meraki guy. This is my professional. It points to my LinkedIn. But that's extra credit if you want to do that. But this is just fine. So 2-column format, skills on the right hand side, experience on the left hand side, 1 page, and that's what they have to work with. So that's completely fine. And just kind of taking a look at the bullet points, we've got 3 bullet points here, 4 bullet points there, and once again, they've never worked in IT before. So let's see, education. Got some education down here. All right, let's start off with we'll go from the top down. So they put in entry-level networking engineer or systems engineer. This may be a little bit too ambitious because he's never worked in IT before. So generally the path for IT folks and network engineers is you're trying to break in, you probably should be looking at support, support technician, technical support, phone support, something like that to start off with. It could even be in the NOC. So if you don't know what working in the NOC is that it's usually a graveyard shift. You're manning a phone, and when a server breaks down or part of the network breaks down, then you get a call and you have to open up tickets. And if you're level 1 NOC support, then you do some basic troubleshooting, some ping, some trace routes. But then anything more complicated than that, you're probably going to pass it on to a level 2 technician. Now it all depends on the type of company you're working with. Some companies, the level 1 techs do quite a bit. They give them a lot of training, a lot of autonomy, and that's actually a really good place to be. But other places, the level 1 tech, it's basically you open a ticket and that's kind of it. But hey, you got to start somewhere. So instead of putting entry-level network technician or systems engineer here, I would probably leave this blank. I would take this out, and then I would put what you want in the cover letter when you apply for a company. Okay, continuing down on the left hand side, so they work in Pennsylvania. They're a school bus driver, COVID sanitation. So it sounds like they drive the bus, and then after you drive the bus, you've got to wipe it down and spray it with alcohol, which is completely fine. I mean, hey, school bus driver dealing with kids and stuff like that, the bunch of little punks. So probably a lot of patience. Dealing with kids is probably the same as dealing with crazy adults and database administrators and SQL admins and upset VMware folks. So yeah, it's probably comparable. And this person's worked here for 2 years. So hey, good job longevity. And they're used to driving a decent sized, well, it's a school bus, right? So it's the class B licensed and their first aid CPR certified. That's, hey, that's good. Clean driving record. Okay. I mean, you really can't put any more bullet points than that. So I think this is perfectly fine. And forklift driver, this is for a big box store. We will not mention what the big box store is, but it might start with a cost and end with a co. And supervisor. So this is cool. 20 plus staff. What I would probably do here is, okay, manage flow schedule. So I would just say managed 20 plus staff for training, duties as sales demand. So, okay, let's shorten this up. Managed 20 staff dash training. I mean, what type of training? Training in forklifts. Yeah, look at this. Training and tested forklifts. Okay, so training, forklift, instruction. That's pretty good. So in IT, you will teach a lot of people, and you'll teach a lot of people that they're not that good with IT, so you have to explain things in very simple manner so that they understand. And I'm guessing this is the same with forklift drivers, right? They come from all walks of life, and someone who's never driven a forklift before, and it's a freaking dangerous thing, right? You could kill someone with a forklift. So yeah, that's important. Forklift instruction, safety. So I would combine a lot of these into one. So, something like that. Maybe put in parentheses, 100% pass rate, something like that. Safety training, something like that. And then I would move this to the top. This is important. I want to see leadership skills. Everyone wants to see leadership skills. I should probably increase the font a little bit. There we go. Easier to read. Sorry about that. Okay, manage 20 plus staff, training, forklift instruction, safety training, something like that. Train and support of front end staff, including cashiers, packers, to make employees more efficient. Specific to what? Be specific here. To make them more efficient. Yeah, how'd you do that? What were the specific points? Were they 10% more efficient? Did they scan more receipts? Did they get more people through the lines? Something like that. So this is pretty good. I mean, this is, yeah, it's not IT, but it's training people, good people skills. Also, if you've dealt with a lead stalker and cashier, irate customers, dealing with irate customers, returns, stuff like that. I definitely want to see that. And then a logo manager was here for, wow, 9 years. And then here, this is 9 years as well. So, been doing this type of stuff for quite a while. And then fulfilled large orders. Well, what's a large order, right? How much money are we talking about here? Trained and managed new hires to pick trained, managed new hires. Okay, trained, managed new hires to pick work orders, assemble materials. I guess that's good. Digitize custom logos. That's pretty good. Manage work volume. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind. This job ended in 2011, and this person's put the most bullet points for a job that ended 10 years ago. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, for something that's not IT and ended a long time ago, I would probably pick the most important ones. Anything with training and managing, put it at top. So I would put this over here. Fulfilling large orders, how much money, digitized custom logos. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Manage work volume and outsourced as needed. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Probably something like that. Maybe 4. Involved in yearly hiring. Well, involved how? How were you involved? Yearly hiring and layoff. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate to deal with, laying off people, but it is a necessary part of business. And it's good to put down on a resume. It's one of those stressful situations that requires tact and empathy. Yeah, you never want to lay off someone and just be a total bastard about it. Okay, have temp employees. Okay, cool. And so, maybe cut it down to 4. And then let's take a look at the skills. This is the word salad. Lots and lots of skills here. Okay, so here's what you're going to run into. This person has never worked in IT, and yet when I look at these skills, this is going to, not necessarily a red flag, but yeah, I'm going to have some questions here because you've never worked in IT. Now, excellent customer service skills. I would not put this here. I would actually delete that. And the reason I would delete that is this big box store. I would put something about excellent customer service skills, whether you got an award, whether no complaints in a year, something like that. I would actually put that under here, maybe in the middle here. I wouldn't necessarily put it at the end, but I wouldn't put it in skills, because chances are, if you've survived 9-10 years, is it 9 years? Yeah, if you've survived 9 years at a retail big box store, I mean, you can't be a total idiot, right? So, and you've made it up to supervisor, manager, etc. So I would, instead of telling people about it, show it. Easier to show it rather than just telling, say, excellent customer service skills. Okay, now there is a way to keep these listed down without raising too many red flags. So what you can do is, for skills, so you get projects listed, LinkedIn, something like that. So in your LinkedIn page, you can put down your projects, and under projects you can include examples of your work. So that includes screenshots, that includes pictures, that includes diagrams. Don't just say I built out a home lab for Linux. Don't just say that I installed some VMware servers for maybe VMware cert or for practice or whatever. Show it. Show a screenshot of the VMware server. Make a video. Don't just list this stuff down here. You're going to want to prove to people in your LinkedIn, on a YouTube page, with screenshots, with something put it on an iPad and bring it to you when you go for your interview. You need to show them that you are an IT guy. So one big piece of advice to remember: if you are trying to break into IT, you've never worked in IT before, you have to show them that you're really an IT guy masquerading in a school bus driver job. This is this school bus driver job that you've had for 2 years. This is a temporary solution. You really belong in IT. Why is that? Well, you're installing Linux servers at home. You've put together 5 computers. You've set up your home firewall on Linux. You're running Docker containers. You're doing all this stuff, and you're able to show it. You're able to prove it. So you're actually an IT guy in waiting. In the school bus driver, you're just paying the bills with it, right? Versus, if you don't show this, what it's going to tell the recruiter and the manager that's looking at your resume, he's really a school bus driver, just maybe pretending to be an IT guy or wanting to be an IT guy, right? So flip that conversation around. You're meant to be in IT. This is a temporary solution, and IT is your calling. So to sum it up, not too bad of a resume. As you get back in your jobs, the older jobs, cut down on the bullet points. Always prioritize the bullet points that have leadership and management responsibilities. Put them at the top. Be specific. Anything where you're training people, be specific. Put in the metrics, 100% pass rate. That's pretty good. And then for your skills, prove it. Show them that you're actually doing it with screenshots, with the video, with projects in LinkedIn. Point to the LinkedIn, that way they can see it, and then they will give you a chance on the interview, And then when you're in the interview, that's your moment to shine. You got to prove, yeah, I've got a home lab, I've invested thousands of dollars, I do this, no one told me to do this, I do this on my own. And what gets you jazzed? I love Docker, I love the concept. Here, let me remote control into my Docker machine at home from the office, from the interview. Do some crazy stuff like that, and you will get your first IT job. And then finally, the aiming for the network engineer right off the bat. Does it happen? Yes, it does once in a while. But for your first IT job, probably going for tech support. There's nothing wrong with going for tech support. There's nothing wrong with starting with the tech support job and doing it for 1 or 2 years. There are some tech support jobs that pay $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year. At Cisco Meraki, we have tech support jobs right now that are paying 70, 80 plus, and we can't hire enough people. Go figure, right? So just because it says tech support, don't think that it's not challenging, and don't think you can't make money with it, because you definitely can, and you definitely have a nice jumping off point after that. Okay, that was another free resume review courtesy of RouterGods. Like, subscribe if this is helpful to you, and once again, RouterGods.com, one of the largest IT and networking meetup groups in the world. We do free resume reviews. Stay safe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.